Hey gang, how's it going? So we have the group stages done. We're like over halfway through now, and I'm recording this on Friday the 25th. So we've had 2 days with no games, and it has sucked. It has really sucked. Like that's one of the big problems with these tournaments. You know, you get so many games in those first couple of weeks with the group stages. Like we've had 3 games a day, and then 2 days of nothing. It's like sucks. But the group stages are done. We know who's gone through. We know who's gone out. So I'm just going to go through those last results that came out, see who's qualified, and then we'll have a quick look at the qualifying round games. I might do some little predictions, but I'm sure if you watch my preview video and even the mid-stage groups video, that my predictions aren't that great. I did say in that first video, I did say not to do everything that completely go against what I said. So, I was right with that respect. But yeah, so the final table for Group A is Italy with 3 wins from 3. Didn't concede either, which fair play to them. But yeah, they walked that group as everyone thought they would. Wales in second with 4 points, +1 goal difference. Switzerland going through as one of the best third places with 4 points with a -1 goal difference, and Turkey finishing dead last. No wins, no draws. They scored 1 goal, conceded 8, -7 and no points. They didn't do well. Like I thought that they'd struggle, but they got torn apart. So the final game between Italy and Wales, 1-0. It was a kind of B-side from Italy, and Wales went down to 10 men as well, which I'm sure a lot of you know. When teams do lose a player, they tend to play better. So yeah, that was just a 1-0. Job done for Italy. Rested some players, gave some more players a run out. Fair play. Wales did all right. They did well, defended well, and finished second in the group. So fair play to them. And in the other group game, Switzerland versus Turkey, Switzerland bossed it. They were 2-0 up. The second goal was quality. Turkey then scored a blinding goal, and then Shaqiri then pretty much went up the other end and just blasted another amazing goal in. And I mentioned the mid-group video that I imagine there was going to be some goals in these games, for teams trying to get through. That was the first day, and it was like, yep, that seems about right. They were both going for it, but I mean, Turkey didn't really have much chance. And Switzerland looked very strong. Very impressed by Switzerland, but they didn't do enough to finish second, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes after this. But Italy do look good, and I've noticed, I think today, Italy have crept into second favourite spot for the tournament, so France is still favourite. Then it's Italy, then England still right up there, apparently. We'll have a look at that a bit later, but sure, okay. Whatever you say, bookies, I'll go with you. So, Group B finished with Belgium top, again, 3 games, 3 wins, 9 points, conceded 1 and scored 7. Again, looked very, very solid. Denmark finished second. Must-win game for them against Russia, and I mean they did. They really did. Finland obviously lost, and they were sort of sat on a bit of a knife edge with the 3 points with a -2 goal difference. So it looked like 3 points was going to be enough to qualify. It was just the goal difference was a bit nasty. And then Russia went out with 3 points, but -5 goal difference, because that Russia-Denmark game, again, as I said, just so many goals. Just Denmark were just all over them. I mean, the second goal was a Russian back pass that was just awful. Just passed it to Poulsen, and Poulsen scored. And then Russia scored a penalty, and then Denmark just went and tore them apart again. Very impressive. Very, very impressive display from Denmark. And they now face Wales in the second round, and we'll have a look at that in a bit. But yeah, Denmark-Wales is an interesting game. But yeah, unfortunately, Finland didn't do enough. The win against Denmark under those circumstances. Fair play to them for picking up the 3 points, but yeah, unfortunately, probably should have got something out of the Russia game, to be honest. Like, Russia didn't look great. Maybe they should have got a draw and that would have seen them through. And then lost 2-0 to Belgium. I mean, they didn't play badly against Belgium, you know. But yeah, the first major tournament, they haven't embarrassed themselves or anything. They've looked decent. Whether they'll qualify for World Cups and what have you in the future, I don't know. But they certainly didn't rely on Pukki as much as people expected them to. But I do think that they're going to need another striker or two in his kind of build that are going to get them the goals. Because otherwise, defensively, they look pretty solid. Midfield, they looked all right. Creatively, they looked really good. I mean, they did go ahead against Russia. They scored in like the 5th minute, I think. It was ruled offside. And then, yeah, Russia scored a goal and that was kind of it. So yeah, so only 2 through from Group B. Group C, we have Netherlands finishing top. Again, played 3, won 3. Only conceded those 2 goals against Ukraine. So didn't concede any against Macedonia. But yeah, 9 points. They do. I don't like their back line. I worry about their back line. Austria finished 2nd, so I'll hold my hand up. I put Austria as the flops for the tournament, and they didn't. They finished 2nd, so fair play to them. Ukraine in 3rd, but a -1 goal difference was enough to see them through with 3 points as a best 3rd place. And unfortunately, Macedonia lost all 3 games. -6 goal difference, scored 2, conceded 8. Again, you know, for the first tournament, they didn't play badly. Like, they were decent enough. They just didn't really have anything, you know. It was just sort of a bit, just ran out. I mean, you know, Netherlands beat them 3-0. Austria scored 3 against them. I mean, the Ukraine 2-1, you know. So Macedonia could be alright in the future, you know, if they've got some sort of younger players coming through. Be interested to keep an eye on them. But yeah, so another 3 out of this group gone through. Group D, I don't want to spend too long on talking about it because I don't want to be too biased with England. But again, another 3 from this group. Czech Republic got the 4 points. So before the Tuesday night games, England and Czech Republic were already through because they were both sat on 4 points, and there was Ukraine and Finland who had finished on 3 points, so 4 points was enough to be a 3rd place. So it all depended, you know, if they drew, Czech Republic would win, and then most of it came down to the Croatia-Scotland game. So England beat Czech Republic 1-0. I watched like the last 5 minutes of it, 10 minutes of it. It wasn't a good game. It was boring. Everyone that I spoke to said it was awful. Sterling hit the post early on and then he scored. And Henderson did score at the end, but he was offside. But they didn't look good. So England, as I said, I don't want to try and talk too much about them. But I don't know. Like, Southgate sorted out the defence. Fair play. I mean, they haven't conceded in the group stages, which is kind of unheard of, you know. I mean, they won their first opening game ever at the Euros this time, so that's something. And yeah, they didn't concede, but they only scored 2 goals. And when your captain, your talisman, your main lone striker isn't scoring goals, you're kind of going to start worrying. But yeah, they topped the group with 7 points. Job done. Maybe that's all they needed, you know. Maybe they don't want to show off too much. Maybe they just wanted to get the job done, get the group won. Don't care. Croatia finished in 2nd with a win over Scotland. They went 1-0 up. Scotland equalised just before half-time. I'm sure it was just before half-time. And then little Luka Modric. Of course it was Luka Modric. Wonderful goal. One of the goals of the tournament. Outside the boot, like, it came to him just outside the area, and most people would just put their laces through it, just leather it as hard as they could. Nah, Modric is like, nah, don't need to do that. Caught the outside the boot, beautiful curl. I mean, Marshall had no chance in the Scotland goal, and then again Modric popped up with the corner, and Rakitic just a smooth little header into the corner. 3-1. So unfortunately Scotland go out with just a point against England. I think they deserve more. Like I said before, the Czech Republic 2-0 flattered Czech Republic. That probably should have been a draw. And then the Croatia game, I don't know. I mean, Scotland knew they had to win to go through. So I don't know. But yeah, so unfortunately Scotland go home. So again, my pick for sort of one of the more surprising teams for the tournament failed. I don't know. Group E, which was looking very interesting going into this round of games. Only 2 teams went through. So unfortunately Slovakia with their win wasn't enough. And Poland finished bottom of the group with a single point that they took off Spain in the second game. Again, maybe quite surprising to people. I think people thought Poland might do alright, sort of them and Sweden, who's going to get second, third. But yeah, just a single point. But Spain decided that that's it. They're not messing about anymore. They've had a 0-0, they've had a 1-1. Let's forget this now, and beat Slovakia 5-0. And watching the highlight, I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights. And yeah, that was Spain. I mean, Slovakia just had... I don't know whether it was the fact that Slovakia were really bad that day, and Spain were very good, or what, but it was definitely the Spain of old. Might help them going forward, you know, might sort of get their rhythm going. It could have been the fact they were just playing Slovakia. No offense, Slovakia. I don't know, but yeah, a 5-0 win really bolstered their goal difference, which helped. I mean, it put them through anyway with 5 points. But yeah, it messed up Slovakia's chances because their goal difference was -5, which is the worst, or one of the worst out of even the 4th place finishes, I think. I think, what do we have? -7, -8. But yeah, that was a score, you know. But Sweden won the group with another win. They beat Poland 3-2. Now, they were 2-0 up. Poland dragged it back to 2-2, and then Sweden caught them, I think it was like the 93rd minute. Fantastic goal by Lewandowski, who also had one ruled offside, which I kind of want to see again, because he didn't look it. But I mean, Sweden have looked quite decent. I wouldn't have picked them to win the group, really, but you know, they could be a bit more of a surprise, potentially. I mean, they got through their group at the World Cup and then lost to England, but I mean, they got through to the quarters before losing to England, but I can't remember who they've got in the next round. We'll have a look in a minute. But yeah, they're looking all right, so they might have some tricks up their sleeve there. And then finally, for the group of death, poor Hungary. Like, slightly biased because I had them in the work sweepstake and I wanted them to go through. And throughout that night, so obviously England had already won the group, so we knew we were playing second in Group F. And at each stage during these games, we were playing each team. Each team were finishing second at one point. The Portugal-France game was interesting because Portugal, I would say, were all over France and looked much better than France. But before anything happened in that game, Hungary had taken the lead in Germany. So Hungary were 1-0 up, second place, but they were 1-0 up. And then Portugal got a penalty, which Cristiano Ronaldo scored. In my opinion, it was definitely a penalty, but it wasn't a very good penalty. It was very lucky the keeper went the wrong way, because if the keeper gets the right way, Courtois gets the right way, he'd have saved that easy. And then just before half time, France got a penalty, which was a lot softer, I think, that one. I'm sure that was the way it worked. Which Benzema scored. Again, it wasn't a great penalty for 1-1. Came out the second half, and Benzema broke the offside trap and started home. I think it was like 2 minutes into the second half. So that must have been when Hungary went second then, because France would have been top, Hungary second, Germany third, and Portugal were going out completely. bottom of the group. Germany then equalised. I mean, the bits I'd seen, I was sort of flicking between the two, but the bits I'd seen, it was just Germany were just camped outside the Hungary half, area, just trying to get in. So, you know, it was inevitable. At which point, I then flicked back to the France-Portugal game, like, that's a shame. I really wanted Hungary to go through. I really wanted to win the sweepstakes. But it's a shame, but you know, it was going to happen. And then the highlight came up. You know, they sort of pushed the Portugal-France game to the side and brought up the Germany equaliser, and then showed Hungary going back and scoring the other way, like straight away. It was like, wait, what happened? So Hungary were 2-1 up. Pretty much Neuer's fault. He sort of came out, and then the striker was just there to head it past him. Sort of like where are you going, Neuer? Like, no need to come that far out. But so Hungary are winning again, and France are winning. So again, Hungary back in second. Portugal then got another penalty, which Cristiano Ronaldo scored again. Again, it wasn't a very convincing penalty. Better than his first one, but not convincing. And then Germany equalised. I think it was about the 84th minute. It was quite late when they equalised again. So both games finished 2-2. And then we ended up with France on 5 points, Germany and Portugal on 4, both with +1 goal difference, which is enough for Portugal to go through as the best third place. But I would say I got this group right. Annoyingly, the website didn't save my prediction. So when I do the post-tournament review video and I see how badly I did with the predictions, I'm going to have to go back and watch that video to work it out. But I know I got this group right. But it's a very tight group. So it didn't really tell anything about anyone. I mean, you know, Hungary drawing with Germany in Germany, quite a big thing. But was it more just that their defence was pretty solid apart from a couple of mistakes? And it was the same with the France game. You know, I only saw the highlights of that game. But again, to me, it just looked like France were all over them constantly. So it didn't really tell you much about that game, you know. But, yeah, so we have our qualifiers. So let's have a look at the games that will take place this weekend. Starting this weekend, the round of 16, or the second round. I don't know why they call it round 16. It's kind of the second round and then quarters. Whatever. Okay, so we have Wales versus Denmark at 5 o'clock. And Italy versus Austria at 8 o'clock. Now, Wales-Denmark, I have no idea how that game's going to go. Not a clue. Couldn't tell you. There'd be a lot of support for Denmark because Christian Eriksen used to play for Ajax. So, kind of a home game-ish. I imagine there'll be a lot of support for Denmark and for Christian Eriksen. So, there'll be a lot against Wales. But Wales don't look that bad, so I don't know. That game... That's a game that could be 1-0 either way, 2-1 either way. Someone might absolutely capitulate and there'll be a 3-0. It could go to extra time. It could go to penalties. That game could go any way whatsoever. I'm not even going to bother trying to predict that one. Italy-Austria in Wembley. Italy should win that. I don't think Austria would really give them any trouble. You know, now I've said that, obviously Austria are going to win like 10-0. But I can't see, you know, the Italian first team will have had a rest. He might even rest some more players against Austria potentially. Although I think it's then a week until the quarterfinals. I think it's the weekend, then the weekend. So you could probably get away with playing your first team. And I think if he plays the first team, that Austria will just be swept aside. I could even see Italy keeping another clean sheet. I mean, I know Donnarumma's potentially going to be a player of the tournament, and if he keeps keeping clean sheets, then that would be deserved. So yeah. So tomorrow, Wales, Denmark, not a clue, couldn't tell you. Italy, Austria, surely Italy, surely. And then on Sunday we have Netherlands versus Czech Republic in Budapest. And then Belgium versus Portugal in Sevilla. The Czech Republic haven't really shown anything to me that says that they beat Netherlands. They have got some good attacking players. And as I've said before, Netherlands back line worries me. So potentially, maybe they could cause an upset. I would imagine Netherlands would get through comfortably. I say comfortably, like that's the kind of game that I could see being a 2-1. 2-1, 3-2, like Netherlands getting a couple of goals, getting one back, getting a little bit cagey at times, but you'd expect Netherlands to get through. Belgium and Portugal, it's in Spain, which might work against Portugal. If there's a lot of Spanish fans in the crowd, then they'll be getting on the Portuguese back. I have no idea how that game would go. Belgium have looked pretty solid, and I mean De Bruyne has come back from his injury. He's looking better now. Hazard's looking so much better than he did for domestically. He's not looking fantastic. Like, he's still sort of one of my players that I would say is kind of flopping. But I mean, his brother looks amazing. Lukaku's getting the goals. He looks good. Tielemans looks good. Their back line looks pretty solid. Belgium, Portugal, penalties. It could go either way, because usually I would say that Portugal would be finding their stride now, but they seem to have gone a bit backwards, really. But then they did look good against France, so I don't know how that game's going to go. Not a clue. Not a clue. Into Monday. Is it going to get easier, please? We have Croatia, Spain in Copenhagen, and then France, Switzerland in Bucharest. Right, so then we have Croatia, Spain in Copenhagen, and France, Switzerland in Bucharest. Realistically, Spain, France to go through. If Spain play like they did against Slovakia, if Croatia played like they did against Scotland, they could cause them problems. It could be a tough... That's probably not the draw that Spain would have wanted. I imagine they would have probably wanted someone like the Czech Republic or someone, maybe. So I would say Spain to go through, but it won't be a big score. That could be quite cagey. And then France, Switzerland. I mean, Switzerland still looks solid, and they look like they've got goals, and they're good going forward, and they're decent at the back. But I can't see them doing much against France. They might go 1-0 up, maybe. But I think they're going to be pretty much camped in their own half for that game. I think with France especially drawing with Hungary, then drawing with Portugal and not looking fantastic, I think Didier Deschamps is going to be kicking them around a little bit at the moment, and they're going to have to start turning it on. And I think Switzerland might get a bit of the brunt of that. I don't think they'd sort of hammer them, but you could sort of see a 3-1, 4-2. Like, I could see a few goals in that. And then Tuesday, the game we didn't... I mean, winning that group to play the second in Group F was never going to be nice. Did it have to be Germany? Could we not have played the world champions? I mean, it's at Wembley. Could help. Maybe. I don't think we beat Germany. I'm pretty certain this is the route I had in my predictions, and I had England to go through. But just seeing how they both played during the groups, it's one of those: do England go 1-0 up, and then sit back? Because seeing what happened with Hungary when they were sort of sat back / camped back, having no chance. It just looked like an absolute relentless German wave. And even if Southgate sorted out the English defence, surely they're not going to be able to hold out. I could see 3-1 Germany, to be honest. But why not? Let's have England Germany penalties again. They're always fun. I can't see it. I can't see England beating them at the moment. The evidence so far this tournament, I say Germany win. Love to be proved wrong, but can't see it. And then the other game is Sweden, Ukraine in Scotland. Again, I don't know, because they both got goals. They're both not superb at the back. I would say maybe Sweden probably better. I mean, yeah, most of these games, the second round games that are thrown up is a bit nasty. The second round has got some interesting games. As I said, you know, I wouldn't want to say anything about Sweden, Ukraine. England, Germany, I'd say Germany. France, Switzerland, France. Croatia, Spain, probably Spain, maybe. Belgium, Portugal, no idea. Netherlands, Czech, probably Netherlands, but Czechs could cause an upset. Italy, Austria, I'm sure Italy are going to win that. And then Wales, Denmark, no idea. So, you know, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. And for 1, 2, 3, at least 4 of them, I wouldn't even hazard a guess at who would win, really. I mean, you know, England, Germany could go either way. Netherlands, Czech Republic could go either way. Spain, Croatia could go either way. As I said, France and Italy are the two teams I would say they should win. They will win. Other than that, not a clue. But yeah, that was a bit of fun. But there won't be another video now until after the tournament, and I'll get Stu back on and we'll go back through our predictions, see how we did, and obviously we can talk about the second round, quarter-final, semi-final, final, if there's anything to talk about. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Any comments, pop them in below. You got any ideas of who's going to win any of these games? Because I ain't. Any results that you found surprising? You know, Hungary's results, good. Any players you've been impressed with? Any players you really think are flopping? I mean, you know, Kane hasn't scored in 3 games. Not great, not great. But yeah, do feel free to comment, and I will see you all after the tournament. Bye, gang.